All right, we're just waiting for our YouTube to go live, everybody, so hang tight. And we're good to go, Chairman.
Streaming live. Okay. All right. I'm gonna open the meeting. Let's see, Kenny, you want to lead the pledge?
All right, if you can find a flag somewhere, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Now at this point, I would like to close our regular meeting and open up a public hearing on 3 Nash Place. And Alex, can you read the notice?
Notice a public hearing in accordance with the Executive Order 202.1. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held before the Planning Commission of the Village of Colony with respect to the following matter at the time and place set forth below. Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. via Zoom teleconference and YouTube live stream. The applicant is Anthony and Linda Nash, 3 Nash Place, Albany, New York, 12205. Application to subdivide 3 Nash Place, tax parcel number 42.9-1-51 into 3 lots to be identified as 3A, and 3B Nash Place. 3 Nash Place will decrease in area from 2.79 acres to 1.13 acres. Lot 3A will be created to have an area of 1.24 acres and 3B to have an area of 1.56 acres. Due to the current COVID-19 pandemic and Governor Cuomo's Executive Order 202.1, the public is not able to participate in person during the hearing. All application materials are available for review on the Village of Colony website. If you would like to make comment on this application, all comments must be submitted via email to ahart@colonyvillage.org by 6 p.m. Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021, dated January 21st, 2021.
Okay, the applicant present or representative?
Yeah, I'm John Hitchcock with ABD Engineers.
Yep.
I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yep. We, last time we were there in December, we got denied because we were lacking the frontage for lot 3A. Since then, on January 6th, we went to the zoning board and we got the variance that would allow the 20.19 foot frontage on 3A. So now we're just back here tonight looking to hear any comments the public may have and seek approval from the commission.
Okay. Alex, do you have did you say you had the map that we could put up, or each individual has one, correct?
Yes, all the applicants or all of you guys have one, but here is just for people at home. You can see that it's color coded.
Yep. Somebody's got a call. Okay. Okay. Any of the board members, do we have questions?
I'm good.
I do not.
Does Victor have to review all of the meets and bounds of the subdivision before we can approve it, or has he already done that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, I'm just asking, does he have to approve it? That's my question. I know he's not here.
John, this is Ron. No, this is not an issue. This is not something that's coming to the village. It's strictly, privately held property with no easements. He would just typically review easements.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I do not. I do not.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right, Alex, you want to read the letter that you received?
Yes, I received a comment from the county fire chief, Jeff Kaiser. The 20-foot wide access causes me pause, but more importantly is the 300-foot length of a driveway that would be required that causes me most concern. A driveway that long and narrow can cause several issues for the fire department. In addition, I'm concerned about there being enough paved space to get a maximum of 2 fire trucks in close proximity to the residents. With the normal street frontage, there is usually enough paved space to accommodate several fire trucks in close proximity to the front of a house. But in this case, I doubt that be possible, and that will be a problem. Not being able to get fire apparatus in close enough to the residents to facilitate hose stretches and ladder work will be unacceptable. Another driveway concern is that should be considered is that if a driveway is not adequately maintained during snow or ice storms, it could cause lengthy delays in getting access for any of 3 emergency services. Quite often, just with normal street setbacks during snowstorms, we or the DPW have responded with EMS to help them gain access to a resident by either shoveling, plowing so that EMS can get into the residence. In this case, if the 300-foot-long driveway is not maintained during rain or ice storms, it'll certainly cause access problems, much worse than that of a normal driveway that may only be 20 to 20 inches from the road. How do you force a homeowner to maintain their driveway is an issue that isn't really a problem for those with 20 to 30 long driveways. We are talking a driveway that will most likely be almost 300 feet long or longer, depending on the location of the residence. If that driveway is not maintained, could cost someone their life in the event of fire or medical emergency. Finally, I am also curious if there is a village code that prohibits gating a driveway. Please feel free to share my concerns. That's it.
Okay, RJ, you actually did a review on the state codes on this?
I looked at the state code for residential requirements.
Yep.
What I found, and I did share this with the chief so he could look at it, that the requirement for residential driveway up to 300 feet is only 12 feet wide, as long as there's, I believe, 13 and a half feet of clearance. So I understand his point about wanting wider, but I can't really point to a code section that requires it. Certain requirements kick in at 500 feet, and
Yep.
that has to do with letting vehicles be able to pass each other. You got to have, they call them turnouts. I call them, short widened sections of the
Yep.
driveway. But we don't have that situation here. So, like I said, I did request when I saw that note from the chief, I responded just asking if he could point us to any particular code, because that's what we would need to use, as part of our, as part of your consideration of the project.
So now the paved surface, that will be a requirement of the building inspector to make sure that's there then, right?
That's correct. There's also the minimum driveway requirement in the village, 12
Yep.
feet.
Yep. Okay. All right. Any additional questions by anyone at this point then?
Was there any thought by the applicant to make that a little wider and take some property from the proposed lot 3B, which appears to have a sufficient amount of or has additional frontage that could, if they went to a variance, would still be acceptable? I guess that's the question for ABD.
Well, acceptable to who?
So there was thought on that, but 12-foot is all that's required for a driveway, so 20-foot frontage is all we needed. That's why we seek the variance for the 20-foot frontage.
So the answer to my question is no.
Correct.
Thank you.
All right, we have no further questions by anyone?
Is there anybody from the public for this, here for this?
I did not receive any public comment. Their cutoff was 6 PM tonight.
I didn't know if anybody was on the actual meeting here.
No, per the governor, they can review and submit comments prior to the meeting, but the executive order takes them out of the public meeting.
Oh, they can't be on the Zoom call?
No.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood. Thank you.
All right, so again, being at the public hearing, we have, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but we have 60 days to determine a decision. Is that correct?
62.
62. It does not mean that we cannot make a decision currently.
You would just have to close the hearing,
We
Chris?
would have to close the public hearing, at this point. Okay.
Need a motion for that?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second,
All in favor?
Yes.
Was anybody opposed? Okay, just for some discussion now, would anybody on the board like to make a motion, or what's your opinion on how we proceed?
Just as a aside, not an aside, but this will require an environmental determination as well. If you're going to vote to approve it, the applicant did submit the environmental assessment form.
And is that in hand by John or anyone?
I don't think I have to go through the original package that was sent. I have that in front of me that was sent back in January. And I don't believe I have one. No, I do not have one.
And there was nothing in the submission this time, right, Alex? It was prior.
It's just a map this time as far as what we got.
It was with the original application.
Right.
I don't have that with the original application, RJ.
All right, if we do not have the application for the motion, RJ, we would have to move on with this and a review at the next meeting. Is that we're gonna have to
Yeah, if
do?
you can't do the environmental review, you can't make any, you can't approve it.
Yeah. Does anybody have any issues with this subdivision? Let's get this out of the way and the applicant will know what direction we're going.
I do not.
I do not.
I just
All
wanted
right.
to wanted to reread the description of what was happening from what was read. That's all. I think it's just me understanding all the subdivision, what's happening.
Okay, so to our applicant, it looks like what we'll be needing to do on this is to have a environmental form in hand. Sorry that the Zoom is not sitting with an environmental statement here. So I would like to suggest that we could review that and hopefully we would be voting on this at our next meeting.
What's the date of the next meeting?
February 16th.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure the applicant probably wants to be present. I was going to ask whether or not we needed the applicant at the meeting. But you probably want to be there, so, okay.
Yeah, I'll sit on for the next meeting.
Okay,
Is-
all right.
Will the Nashes be there as well, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just to conclude now, we don't see any issue moving forward at the next meeting.
No, I pretty much have asked the board that giving no comments back of any issues. So it won't be a public hearing, we'll just be acting on it. So,
Okay.
all right. Okay, we'll have all our paperwork in hand for you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Yep.
John will have that resent to you tomorrow.
All right, good, thanks. Can you send me the statement that you read for the public notice also?
The copy of the public notice?
Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, moving back, opening the our regular meeting. The next applicant is 1770 Central Avenue. The applicant here.
Neil Chalakis for the landlord is here.
Yep.
Adam Leonardo's here also.
Okay.
Chris, before we entertain this, we need that original statement from, I guess, either RJ or Victor about the parking on the premise.
Yes.
I don't have it.
All right, well, we know what it is, so we'll just copy it from previous meeting minutes and incorporate it into this one.
Essentially, it's, I will try to paraphrase it. Essentially, that should this tend to be approved, it is not a ratification of the existing parking as it's presented on the site.
Correct. Okay. Okay, we have packet, we have the application in our packets. Adam, are you gonna make a statement on it?
Yeah, so based on the last meeting, I spoke with the tenants that use the grease containers. Moe's and the pizza place are going to share a container that we've located behind the cardboard recycling dumpsters. We've had the Wendy's container has been removed, and the Moe's container should be removed next week.
Okay,
What's
so-
Wendy's gonna do for grease?
They said that there's some sort of internal system in the new building that they use. It's contained within the building.
Yeah, they said that they have not been using that at all since
Oh, perfect.
the new construction.
Yeah.
And that they weren't aware that it was even theirs, but it was removed. And Buffalo Biodiesel, who's Moe's, we've been trying to contact, and we have an understanding, I believe, that theirs will be removed sometime next week.
Okay, so Adam and we had two grease traps, two containers, correct? And
There's actually three.
three,
They're
okay,
right, correct. There was 3.
okay. I'm looking at this plan, seeing that you've fenced off an area, 3 parking spaces.
What that is.
No. Nothing's fenced up.
Chris, I noticed that when I was looking at the plans, and that, like, that's been like a carryover on these site plans from something. It's obviously not there.
Okay, so
Where-
that, yeah, go ahead, Adam.
Where are you referring to?
Which would be pretty much in front of where the grease traps are. The entrance on Carner Road, if you could take the first right, my plan shows, does anybody else plan show the same thing? As they're showing a
Yes.
hashed
Same
fence
thing.
mark?
Yeah.
But you're stating that that's not gonna be there.
No, there's nothing hashed out.
Well, the site plan also says Wendy's is under construction, so it's probably an old one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that fence is not there, and again, then your grease traps are being handled from in the rear of the building?
Correct. There's where the recycle containers are shown on there.
Yep.
We're putting it on the concrete pad right behind the recycling containers.
Where it
Okay.
says waste oil container?
Correct.
All right, so the issue of any kind of grease receivers, receptacles and so forth over in the green space is then taken care of on this plan then.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yep,
The relocated grease containers over by the compactor, are two 55-gallon drums acceptable grease containers? Maybe you could answer that, RJ?
You're not typically sure what they,
Only one.
I drove past there today. There was two 55-gallon drums right next to the building, just east of the compactor.
Correct. The company is going to dump them more often. They're using the drums in the winter because they can't get in there with the truck to lift up the container because the dumpsters are there. So in the winter time, the grease can freeze if the people put water and mix stuff in it. So they typically do suck it out with a hose.
Mhm.
But in the winter, if they freeze, they can't get it out with the hose. So he put drums there. So they're movable. He's able to lift those out of there.
So you're gonna have two drums instead of one container?
Correct.
So the site plan only shows one container. It should really show two drums there then.
well, again, this is going to be a container. In the warmer weather, that's what they're gonna be going to.
Yes.
Okay,
It's just for a couple months. Usually January, February, when we get the severe cold, he's not able to suck it out with a hose.
Yeah.
They have to actually get next to the container and heat it in order to suck it out.
But it's not on any more green area. It's not sitting on Corner Road. It's in the back. It's next to the recycling bins. Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
so literally it's coming down to the subcontractor that comes in, picks these up, and they're using whatever they do in the winters and the summers then.
Now, what about for the pizza joint? Paisans, do they have their own other container in the back? How are they handling their stuff?
Moe's and the pizza place are now using the same containers.
And where do they place them?
It's by the recycling bin. There's one location for two
Okay.
people.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's good. Good.
Okay, one of the other things that was asked was about a curb cut.
Yeah, so we added a handicap drop at the end of the sidewalk there, right before the new entrance.
Having looked at that detail, I was kind of wondering about that. It just pitches off down to the one end then.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
It doesn't go into the lot. It goes parallel with the building.
Now, Adam, this will be a building department issue that we've talked about in some other buildings. You don't have a canopy over that entrance?
There is not a canopy over that entrance.
Okay. Again, just for the board's clarification, I feel that's not a requirement on the site plan for the planning commission. But whether or not the building department will bring that issue up, I'm just kind of throwing it out to the applicant. But again,
well,
not,
the only caveat to that is, once you put something on the structure, it's deemed part of the structure, the way the building code, the code is written. So it's fine as long as it does not enter into the front yard there. And it looks far enough away, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
that would be the only problem. So use a small canopy.
You're saying if it comes into the setback, RJ?
Right, which I don't think it will. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think it will.
I just don't remember off the top of my head what that setback would be, but. It doesn't
You mean protrude the width of the sidewalk?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it as a matter, it's not Chris, I was just trying to clarify Chris's statement. In this
Oh.
case, it should be fine, but it's not always fine. We've run into issues where people have had to go to the zoning board.
Yeah.
to put that canopy up, right? Chili's, I think, was one of them.
We actually did it for Pioneer.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe Wendy's went for zoning, got approved, never put it up.
Chris, I just had one question on this, and it's,
Yep.
again, we have a handicap ramp there, but there's no handicap space. So my question really, I don't get involved in handicap parking issues too much, but is there one required down there? Because the handicap space is all the way up by Mo's.
Yeah, I think what they have to meet is the quantity for a parking lot. So you take the full parking lot and there'll be a quantity for the whole site.
Yeah, and I think we're over by like 4 spots with the whole site.
Okay, were there any additional comments from the board as to what we required to be on the plan from the last meeting? I believe it was the 2 items.
No, I think the floor plan that they provided now matches the site plan. That was one of the questions we had at the last meeting.
Right, you're right. That was another question, right? So.
And then I think you had a question of, we weren't sure if there was a unit number for this, and I think they said it was just going to be to the rear of the pool place, and didn't have a unit number on its own.
Yeah, there are no suite numbers or unit numbers over there.
Okay.
The rear of Namco then.
Yep.
Okay, if we have no other questions on this, does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve MKS Industries at 1770 Central Avenue to the created space behind Namco Pools.
Second.
Okay, everybody in favor? Say
Yes.
aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, very good. All right,
All right, thank you.
Thank
All right.
you.
okay, Nina and Adam will, so.
Thanks.
Okay, 16 Petra Lane, California Closets. Dick, unmute yourself.
How's that?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'm Richard Hoffman, representing Sean Rafferty and California Closet Company for 16 Petra Lane. This existing site is fronted on 3 sides, 2 by Petra Lane and 1 by Walker Way. The site has 2 buildings. One is a 5,600 square foot building that is leased by Rise Engineering that consists of about 3,100 square feet of office space and another 2,500 square feet of storage warehouse space. The second building is the offices and the production facility for California Closets. It consists of 5,468 square feet of 2-story office section and a 5,000 square foot single production section where we're proposing this 2,100 square foot single story addition. To meet the growing demand and this additional space is needed for storage and for staging of materials for the fabrication of the custom cabinets and closet systems. The proposed addition will be an extension of the existing structure, similar in height and material. Access will be from the rear of the addition. The zoning board has granted a variance on the front yard setback from walkway to 25 feet. Now, this building is located in the commercial D zone, which is permitted use, and is compatible with all the surrounding land use. It will have a negative impact on the immediate area as well as the village. There's not going to be any impact on schools or increase in traffic or utilities. With the 2,000 square foot addition, the building will cover a little over 15,500 square feet, which is a 17.8% of the site. The paving sidewalks will be reduced to 34,549 square feet, which is about 39.8% of the site, leaving a little over 37,000 square feet or 42.5.6 green for green space. And 24,500 plus square feet is in the front yard, which is about 28.1%. All the existing landscaping will remain in place as it is, and the existing drainage patterns and systems will be unchanged. The required number of parking spaces based on the square footage is 65, and it's broken down on the site plan. The actual need is considerably less, and there's no customer service or customer sales in this area. The site has adequate spaces to create the required number of spaces, but it's preferred to leave the spaces as green space. The zoning board of appeals has granted a variance on the number of parking spaces to the 48, the number of existing spaces. Are there any questions? I think Sean is also on.
I'm here.
California Closets.
Okay. Just a couple comments. Again, this will be the site plan that we will be, if approved, be stamping. Did you state that was a variance given on the parking?
Yes,
Okay. So this site basically has two variances?
that is correct.
Okay. Okay, so two things that I'd like to see, and I'm gonna preface that by saying I personally I don't have an issue with the submission for the project. Two things I would like to see though, on the actual plan itself. I'd like you to actually go through and list the two variances that you received and put it right on the site plan. That makes it much easier for us, knowing later on we don't come back and have to ask the applicant for if there's variances on the site, so forth. I think that would help if you come back again next time we have them on there. So, and the only other thing is you're saying you're using the existing landscape. I don't know who did that on the previous, or even if you submit the same one. I'd like to have the landscape plan too, so that we can stamp the whole set as the current complete set. On that, anybody concur, or anything else you'd like to see, or?
I agree with what you said, Chris.
Yep, I agree too.
I really don't. Again, I also would like to say I don't have any issue. I'm going to put this out to the board, see if how you feel. I have no issue making a motion and voting on this project, but the stamped plans, I'd like those not to be until we get the sheets with the variance on it and a landscape plan with it, Dick, so.
Chris?
Yep, and I'm gonna ask the board comments on that.
So this is really, I would call this not a complete plan. I mean, it certainly provides the, the planimetric requirements.
Yeah.
But it is a site plan, so, it needs finished floors, it needs potential grading. It does need to show, obviously, the landscaping. And Dick, I only drove by virtually, but it does appear that some trees are going to be affected. I don't really know that for a fact because I don't know how old the photos are, but so those types of things need to be done. What are the grades going to be finished for? You have to demonstrate that, I'm not doubting, we have to demonstrate that, the drainage is.
Well, the plan has not been changed since you people approved it a couple of years ago when California Closets moved in. The drainage and things have not been changed or altered. Granted, we all have to address the landscaping, but we can do that.
So RJ, you're saying that you don't consider this a complete plan because it's missing certain items like drainage and grading on this plan?
Mostly basic information. Finished floor.
So even though it's been approved previously, we need to have all that stuff on here because we're going to approve a new one and that kind of voids the previous approval. Is that correct?
Well, that's a further discussion, right? Because in the past, we've actually had some people update their complete site plan. So we're not creating these little pieces of approvals, right? So you got to take this plan and go back to the original plan. And I'm not talking about the, the construction details and all that stuff, but this becomes a new site plan. So it needs to have the same information the old site plan had.
With any changes that the addition would create.
Right. And if nothing's changed, that's easy, right? I mean.
All right. So
is the applicant going to have a hardship if we wait 2 weeks for final approval so we can get all that stuff together and get it forwarded to us to make sure everything's there?
The question would be I have to see what was originally submitted when it comes to mostly the elevations of the site and things like that. I think to go get elevations at this point would be a little difficult. Some of the landscaping would be hard to identify at this point, but we can get what was originally submitted and put that on and change it where, as you pointed out, there may be a tree or two. We'll have to verify if there's any landscaping change, but we'd have to base it off what was submitted previously a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Well,
Alex, do you know who made the submission or who was the professional on the last submission?
I think
I don't have the original with me, but I can look that up.
it was the original survey was by Charlie Height. Charles Height.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was Charlie Height from Ravina who did it back when he
Right.
bought the property.
RJ, that obvious that I'm saying obviously, but that can just be referenced as to who did that information, right? As long as it's submitted.
Well, I'm
Correct?
talking about not the basic survey. This is just a survey, right? This is the
Yep.
Right.
survey.
And they do not have, I have previously checked, they do not have any elevations of the site when they did the survey. They did not take any.
Well, my point is that there is an approved site plan on file at the village,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
right? So basically, what we want to do is modify that plan.
Okay.
Right. So if nothing else changes, Dick, fine, we got our building, you're gonna put the finished floor on there and maybe that's all it's going to be. But in regard to even to the landscaping, we got to make sure that the landscaping that's on the site is what was approved. And I think you were getting at that. I mean, at least what's approved. Because one of the problems, if the board remembers, we run into the issue that people say we're not going to change the landscaping, but the landscaping that's there today isn't what was actually approved last time. You know,
Well, bushes and plants die over a period of time and are replaced.
yeah, well, you would hope so. You know, somehow amazingly enough, Dick, that doesn't always happen.
Right.
And I'm not saying you guys didn't. But then that way, Chris, we have the plan, right? We can go look at that plan.
Yep.
And not have to try to piece it together later on, because that always comes into a problem.
Yep. All right. Dickie, that's probably a bad phrase. You're comfortable with knowing exactly what we would need on here to submit at this point?
I
And
believe so.
yep. And what I would suggest is, when you do have it, RJ, why don't you take a quick shot at it before we come to the next meeting or the meeting that's going to be
Yeah,
on, so that we can make sure that it's complete and we're ready to go.
yeah, sure. Dick knows the drill. We work pretty well together.
Yeah. All
He
right.
just tells me what I have to do.
Yeah. Right. What I wish.
All right. Anything else?
I do not.
Nope.
But just as a side, just so you know, my wife and I did buy a nice California closet set up a couple months ago out of the Saratoga store. I don't know if you have anything to do with that, but it's very nice and it works great.
All right, good.
All right. Dick, if you're set on what you need, the requirement on that, and again, put it in RJ's hands so that we don't have to go more than one more submission and get this approved. Okay.
Will do. Thank you very much.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Have a good
Thanks.
night.
Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. I guess we're gonna run this a little backwards. About our minutes. Okay, the minutes from January 19th. Does anyone have any? Well, I guess I'll go in the same way. 3 Nash Place. Anybody have anything on that?
I do.
Negative.
Nope.
Just in the first page, second line up from the bottom,
Yep.
had a plan drawn. I would like to say had a plan marked up, since it was really somebody else's plan.
Okay. Got it, Alex? Yes. Okay, 1586 Central Avenue.
I do.
Um,
I'm taking over for Mike.
Yes,
Just the fourth line down at the very end.
add a D,
Provided, all right,
add a D.
yeah, add a D. The second paragraph,
Yep.
1, 2, 3, fourth line down says for approval, it starts for approval. Engineer LaBerge also stated the previous approval had conditions of whatever they were. I don't believe that I said that. I thought either that was John or somebody else.
I could actually take credit for that one there.
Okay, so it's Chris's fault.
Yep. Now going on to the 2 lines below that, Chairman Dennis requested that these specific conditions be put noted instead of stated, so that it's going on the plan.
Got it.
All right. That's all I had on 1586. Anybody?
Negative.
0. Good.
I'm good.
Okay. 1440 Central Avenue. I have nothing. I don't know if. Okay.
Nothing.
If that be it, then somebody want to make a motion?
Make the motion to approve the meeting minutes from Tuesday, January 19th as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? No. RJ, I would, if you don't mind, go and do a little update as to a meeting that you and I
Oh,
Zoomed on Coles Plaza.
right. So Chris and I met with Representative Coles Plaza. They are looking to do an addition onto the former Office Max building. It's the very first one on the right-hand side as you go into the site from Central Avenue. And basically, it's mostly an addition on the side of the building. And then a little bit behind it with an additional truck bay that loads from the west side. It moves the driveway pretty tight to the property line, uses up most of the spaces where the shared parking was for the Trustco Bank. It does technically meet, well, it meets all the setback requirements. It doesn't encroach into the, there's a residential buffer back there. So we met with them, we went through it. We talked about, view of the building from Central Avenue and how do you get some landscaping in there? When you see the plan, you'll certainly understand that better. All they told us is going to be some type of grocery if they can get enough square feet. If they can't get something approved, then obviously they're going to, the folks will pass. So at that point, once basically that was all we really talked about. Mostly was the green space issue.
Yeah. Yeah. Did that green space, RJ, meet the 20% when they took this off?
Well, they said it did, but they never did the computation.
Okay.
Because they didn't even have the former site plan.
Yeah, because they actually represented to us that they could possibly address some other areas on the site to dress them up if we so chose to do that.
Well,
What bothered me,
some other innocuous areas, which whatever that means.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess I was the one that brought the issue up. Where Knighton's parking lot is, the second building on Central Avenue from there, that's the area that the trees would be removed. And I told them that I don't want to be sitting on Central and be looking down through their service alley, if you will, on the back side of the building. So I did bring that, and that RJ alluded to that. That's the space that they would be removing. And also, I believe RJ said that they had a parking agreement, and we'd have to know how that stands.
Right.
Because we felt there was 9 spaces that they agreed to when it came in as the coffee place, right? Starbucks?
Yeah, but originally Starbucks, but even with Trustco, it's required to meet the parking demand.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or requirement, I should say.
Requirements, yep.
Who goes to the bank anymore?
So
Did they talk about the amount of large trucks with delivery produce and how they get around the site? Or is that something that's going to be addressed later when they come back with a plan?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Well, let me just to back up a little bit. So what Chris recommended is to submit this for sketch plan review, put a nice letter together. They don't really need to update the plan unless they're proposing some changes. Just so the board can have an initial reaction to it and draw out your comments. So John, that would be an appropriate time, we think, to do that. But just to answer your question, the truck traffic for tractor trailers is pretty much a one-way deal. They have to come in. They're going to have to go down along the side of the building between the Trustco Bank and the whatever market it's going to be, and drive back through the service alley and back into the loading bays, because the loading bays all are on the face west.
But I'm just concerned of the amount of tractor trailers. If you look at Price Chopper and even Aldi's, they have a large volume of tractor trailer traffic, and depending upon the size and the type of grocery this turns out to be, you can have a bottleneck in there, and then there's parking problems in the front of the building. I know that Office Max didn't take up much parking, but it's a grocery store, You'd have to see what they submit and what their
It's a small grocery store. Keep that in mind. This is a small store at 30-something thousand square feet. You know, the Hannafords are 100,000.
Yeah.
They're all huge. So,
Yeah.
so right now, I guess I kind of give them the benefit of the doubt on that. They have room to actually have 2 trailers in a dock. It's pretty obvious.
The max they thought they could get up to, John, was 28,600, something like that. So not a small building, but again,
Right, but
substantial. But
Do we know what kind of grocery store they were recommending?
nope.
no
Trader Joe's.
yeah,
Right.
proprietary, and they did not want to tell us at that moment. But
They do understand that if they make a formal application, they will have to disclose that.
Yeah, I just know that the Asian market down on Central Avenue draws a huge amount of traffic for a small, relatively small store. And
The only
again,
one.
like you said, Trader Joe's draws a tremendous amount of traffic too for Central Avenue for a small store. So it's just curious.
Just remember, John, and I'm sorry to belabor this, but that Trader Joe's on Wolf Road has a ridiculously small parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tiny, so it always seems packed because,
and one access point, no light.
right.
Yeah,
So anyway, that's all that was about.
yeah.
So,
We won't go into the politics of that one. All right.
Right, I'm assuming that they will be submitting that, Alex, so you'll probably see something come across. Bowler Engineers working on it, so it'll probably come through them.
Okay, Alex, where do we stand? We got the applicator submittals and so forth for next meeting, or?
I have Stewart's, their formal application, that is just pending RJ's review.
Right, that'll be done.
So we'll
Do
have.
you have the
Stewart's.
traffic study, a hard copy?
I do, John. We can coordinate a time. There's only 2 hard copies, so if no one else wants one, then you can have it.
Okay.
Let him have at it.
It all works fine.
I'll defer to John.
Yeah. Well, we have to.
I've been through the PDF, and it's awful hard to read small print and keep scaling the pages. So
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I'll drop it off this week.
It's
all
also
right, thanks,
tough.
Alex.
It's tough to put notes in the margin.
You gotta leave them.
Anything, so Stewart's we're saying is gonna be on the next meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Alex, or?
I don't
Probably
have
Nash.
anything.
Yeah,
Nash will be on for their decision, and I don't have anything pending right now.
okay. All right.
RJ, when you reviewed Stewart's, did they need any variances?
I didn't review it yet,
Okay.
but I don't think so.
I'm just wondering if we're going to end up with a public hearing for that or not.
I don't, John, I did take a very quick look, but I don't think there's variances involved.
Okay, no setbacks next to the residential when they take over that second property?
No, they're keeping 25 feet from the building to the property line. But I'll double check all that.
Yeah. I just dread a public hearing on that site. Because you get all the people that come from Lincoln complaining about potential traffic.
Yeah.
They're probably gonna like it.
Yes, yeah. No, I want Stewart's. I want Stewart's gasoline. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we can walk to it. It'd be great.
Yeah, exactly.
Get your ice cream cone.
Ice cream cone. You gotta get a peanut pepperoni pandemonium.
The folks from the Super 8 are gonna love it.
Oh God.
Oh,
No,
I think it might step up a little bit from the gas station store. So,
yeah.
Don't forget this.
Yes.
Stewart's has tables.
yes,
That's true. Okay.
and outside too.
You go down to the Menands one, you get, you see
Oh,
lots of people. sitting.
Mark, we can go down with Mary Jean. We can have an ice cream and sit out. Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
Oh, yeah.
The plus may be that they may end up closing the Stewart's in Lansing.
Probably.
That would relieve a lot of traffic problems there.
Oh, the traffic on Central Ave. Come on, John.
No. The traffic on Lansing. Because the backup coming out of there and the short light span.
I don't live down there. I don't care.
I know you don't.
So, all right.
Sorry.
Alex, we will,
recorded too. Great. Oh my gosh.
so Alex will definitely be having a meeting. So you already have things that are on for that. Only other one comment, and Jim, if you don't mind, I'll want to bring this topic up if that's okay, or you could.
That's fine. No,
Okay.
go right ahead.
Jim actually brought some to my attention, which is totally correct. When I went and looked at this, the plans for this 1770 Central Avenue, they actually have signage shown on that site plan. That signage for the ANSI and handicap are not installed. Again, it's it's an enforcement thing. I think Victor has made Adam and Nia aware of it. And Jim has spoken with the building department, I believe, or RJ did, somebody did.
Well, Jim, I'm thinking, and I actually did speak with him as well.
Yeah.
Steve was working on it.
Yep. So, so it was on there. It's not been put on. And Jim, thanks for calling out and bringing it to my attention too. So.
Right, Jim, they take them out in the winter because it's hard to plow.
You know, I think it's the only Rossetti site without any signage.
Yeah, no, just to add on to it, I did mention to Steve that the sign is missing from the Mo's handicap spot too.
Yeah.
They have zero signs
Correct.
in the whole mall. Zero.
Right.
And actually,
Now-
the ones, even on the plan, the ones that don't show any signage that they're indicated is Wendy's, I believe. There's 4 of them in front. The plan doesn't even show signs for that one. The other ones have
They
it.
should be on the building, aren't they on the building?
No, these are the ones that are right out in the middle of the lot.
And
So,
Wendy's?
yeah, it's close to Wendy's and straight out from like Namco, whatever. If you look on there, they don't show any signage, but they do in all the others. So, I
think Wendy's and the bank
Oh,
have their signage on the 2 pad sites.
Yeah.
But there's 9 other handicap designated spots in the strip mall with 0 signs.
yeah.
So,
and the problem is the law enforcement can't enforce a handicap violation without a sign.
Yeah, without them. Yeah.
All they can do is fine the owner $250 a site for not having the signs.
Yeah. Yep. So not to belabor the issue, it is a building department, and from my understanding is they are in the midst of acting on it for us. So.
Yeah, I spoke to Steve and he said he was going to issue him a notice.
Okay. And the only other thing that I have is giving my condolences to Mark again for jumping on board.
Oh yeah, see,
New guy buys.
Yeah.
If anybody, if there's nothing else,
who recommended him for the board? I don't know. Oh my God.
Oh,
You're official, Mark?
Nice.
Congratulations.
Unless
Good, now
there's
we can all
something
go to
else
the Monaco's for a drink to celebrate.
someday, and Ann will be there too.
Yes, we'll have to walk over.
Oh, she's waiting.
All right. So unless there's anything else, somebody could make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
yes.
I'll see you on the little screen in 2 weeks, huh?
All right.
Stay safe.
Hey,
Arrivederci.
everybody.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Good night.
Have a good one.
Good night.